So a big early land by the boxer. He put a lot of steam on that one as he's able to get that hook home, DC.
He lands it perfect. I mean, he throws it perfect. Right hand is always where it needs to be. If he throws it with the right, the left hand's always where it needs to be. It's tight, it's crisp, and it lands with a lot of power.
Trying to do damage now with the kick. That's a miss. Just misses there with the left. Heavy leather landed on both sides in that exchange. Throwing that jab yet again out of range.
Nice inside kick.
Nice job by him defensively.
Oh, hi Freddy. What do you want? Well, what do I want? Well, I want a dozen red roses. You think you got that, Freddy? Freddy?
Fuck off.
What did I do? What's up with him? Why don't you ask me instead? Oh yeah, now there's two Freddys in the room. No, three. Oh yeah. Well, Freddy No Way Home. Yeah, but then he has to be fucking Maguire, and that's not gonna stand. You can be the new Spider-Man show, you're the shittest one. Even though you're the oldest. Well, I don't have red roses, sorry. Well, how was your nice day or night last night? Nothing that concerns you toys. Only us Freddys. Take a one.
Postures up now. Oh, and delivers. Huge punch to the head there. Looks like he's trying for submission now.
Oh, that's getting deep.
Oh, now he gives up on the submission. Morale gets back on. Under a minute now to go. Pretty good jab there by Henan Barao. Nice crack there. who's the last man standing. His cheek looks like it's cut. Yes, it is starting to bleed a little bit now. Second round, straight ahead. All right, so the cut man attends to the fighter who is essentially...
Ready to fight? Ready.
All right, second round underway. All right, so as this next round gets underway, hopefully the good action we saw in the last round will continue. Both fighters certainly had their ups and downs. Both got the offense going. But now we'll see if one fighter or the other can really take control of what has been a very close fight thus far. Starting to do some really significant damage to the body here. Another strike lands there.
Trading shots. Let's see who's going to be the last man standing. Nice punch to the head.
A swing. Beautiful job to split the guard. Now his opponent's really on the ropes.
His opponent's on beat street. He's hurt so bad. I don't know what he's going to do.
Oh,
He got him again. Oh, nice elbow. Great timing on that double leg.
Corral gets up. He is back on the feet. Looked like he was in a submissive state on the ground, but he worked hard there to get back to the feet. Just out of range with that stroke. Man, that is loud. Another strike lands. Oh!
Good right here.
Big shots being landed on both sides here. As bleeding from the mouth, Daniel looks as though there's a cut on his lip. Thankfully, he's a lot tougher than I am. Well, missed on that one.
Man, he has a great double leg. My goodness, he has a great double leg.
3 minutes and change to go in round two. Oh, big elbow. Try to establish that jab. Well, now you see some visible damage on the side underneath the elbow. He told us he was going to invest in the body, and he hasn't missed a whole lot tonight.
You didn't expect him to do it this effectively. He's done a fantastic job of following the game plan. Oh, big elbow.
Nice shot there, DC. He is officially rocked.
A big, massive kick. Put his opponent on skates.
We might get a stoppage here. Back to his feet. Oh, the takedown by him there as he lands another one. He's keeping the stat guys busy tonight.
I mean, over and over, takedown attempt after takedown attempt, and the cardio. The cardio to wrestle that much is so impressive because his opponent is getting back to his feet, but he's got this ability to continue to chase takedowns.
Well, no feeling out process tonight. Both fighters invoke. Oh, big diving punch to the head.
Right, do you want to watch something?
Chin Scares.
Oh, right, yeah, good idea.
Makes sense to me.
That was the plan a bit ago. Oh, FNAF Zero. Well, I know 14 and Bonnie will remember, but this will be your first time watching Chilling Scares with us, with food. Very noisy.
VinnyBad118 was a YouTube channel owned and
So
operated
there's YouTubers that became killers.
by Vincent Bataloro from New Jersey. He'd been active on YouTube since 2021 and mainly streamed himself playing sports games like MLB The Show. On September 30, 2025, he went live with another one of these streams. And for someone stumbling onto this live broadcast,
Also really random. I ate nothing yesterday. I've had nothing today. So I'm fucking starving.
Shit.
I'm fucking starving.
nothing about it felt odd. That is, until they started watching and noticed his chat asking him odd questions like, are you going to jail? And how are you going to get paid in jail? Things became even more strange when some of his viewers started calling him a killer over and over again. However, this label wasn't an exaggeration. As it turned out, Vincent was hosting this stream less than a day after allegedly ending the lives of 2 teenage girls in a neighboring town, and he didn't seem the least bit remorseful. The incident happened on September 29th, just before 5:30 p.m. 17-year-old Maria Neotis and Isabella Salas were riding e-bikes in a residential neighborhood in Cranford, New Jersey, when they were suddenly hit by a speeding car, seemingly out of nowhere. The crash was loud enough to get the attention of nearby residents. People rushed to help. Unfortunately, it was already too late.
Describe what those calls to police sounded like moments after Maria Neotis and Isabella Salas were mowed down by a black SUV driven by another teenager.
On the road and there was a car. Oh my God, please hurry. So there's 2 females?
By the time first responders arrived at the scene, both girls had already passed away. But what made the incident even more disturbing was just how shockingly violent it was. Later investigation revealed the car was going close to 70 miles per hour, or over 110 kilometers an hour, in a neighborhood with a speed limit of just 25 miles per hour, or roughly 40 kilometers per hour. The resulting collision sent the girls flying across the street, with one victim coming to rest approximately 100 feet from the impact site. According to eyewitness reports, the driver tried to drive away immediately after the incident, but the crash was so violent that the impact had launched one of the e-bikes into the car, forcing the driver to ditch it and flee on foot. Fortunately, this allowed investigators to run the license plate and trace the car back to its driver, 17-year-old Vincent Bataloro. Vincent was called in for questioning. It's unclear what exactly he told the police, but since the investigators didn't have any solid evidence of his personal involvement, he was let go the same night. The investigators were also treating this as an accident by this point, so they had no ground to detain Vincent just yet. However, this changed completely when one of the victims' families learned about Vincent's potential involvement. According to Maria's family, Vincent had been stalking and harassing her for months by that point. They went to the same school, and Vincent was reported to have tormented her during multiple different instances. The two had never gotten along. Vincent would also allegedly follow Maria around anytime she went outside, and neighbors even saw him staking out her house in his car on multiple occasions. This behavior only worsened after Maria reported him to the school authorities about a month before the incident, with him becoming even more aggressive and making false police reports, even leading to her family getting swatted multiple times. In one of his streams, he mentioned having a vengeance against Maria and even dedicated one of his old phones to harassing her, starting with ordering a pizza to her address.
Here's what we're gonna do. I think Maria's hungry. I think we're gonna send her a pizza. Sure. So, y'all know I have a vengeance against this girl. I'm gonna call a pizza to her house, and here's how I'm gonna do it.
Investigation also revealed that Vincent's own parents had called the police 4 times regarding his increasingly violent and out-of-control behavior over the last few months. He was becoming more erratic, and combined with Maria getting him in trouble at school, was likely harboring deep resentment towards her. Put simply, there was a strong chance that what happened wasn't an accident. He possibly wanted to take his anger out on Maria, and Isabel was just collateral in his messed up plan. Now, while the investigators were piecing all this together, Vincent decided to go live on YouTube and pretend like everything was completely normal. However, people in his community had learned about his possible involvement in the case by this point, resulting in the chat messages we mentioned earlier. He tried to dismiss these messages as just hate comments and drama, but eventually decided to address the situation in the vaguest terms possible.
In a neighboring town, unfortunately, 2 girls were killed in a hit-and-run crash. Now, there has been a lot of misinformation going on over the internet. It is an absolute unfortunate situation, and there's more to the story that you're not getting. But when the time comes, I will explain it in greater detail.
He was likely speaking this way to avoid an accidental admission of guilt. However, this stream could still help investigators bring him to justice. You see, while he was live on YouTube, investigators were gathering evidence to prove that he was behind the wheel. This led to the discovery of ring camera footage from a nearby street, showing him speeding in the neighborhood before the incident and then walking back on foot minutes after everything went down. This, combined with eyewitness testimonies, allowed investigators to arrest him a day later on October 1st and charge him with 2 counts of first-degree murder. His channel has since been terminated by YouTube. Prosecutors are also pushing to have Vincent tried as an adult to secure the full sentence they believe he deserves.
At Star Plan, refresh your home with style. Get 20% off fitted home living furniture. Designed.
Yeah. Admits it all on the stream.
I'm recording this because I want my daughter to know that I love you, Mackenzie Pascal. I'm so sorry that I've done this. I want you to know that you mean everything to me.
This was the final video 48-year-old Trent Pascal uploaded to YouTube on October 21st, 2020. His content up until that point was a mix of family vlogs, DIY tips, and RC toy reviews. He came across as a laid-back, middle-aged dad enjoying time with his family, but the video he uploaded in October 2020 was different. It wasn't a wholesome vlog or toy review with his kids. Instead, this was a confession Trent posted to YouTube after committing a heartless crime just so he could paint himself as the victim. The day started off rough with Trent having a massive argument with his wife, Savannah. Details of what exactly caused this argument are unknown, but according to some reports, it had something to do with Trent's overprotective and envious personality. He was reportedly very insecure about the 18-year age gap between him and Savannah. He saw anyone even remotely close to her as a threat and tried to control every aspect of her life, which also led to many clashes between the two over the years. Regardless of the reason, the argument on October 21st ended with Savannah dropping their 2 kids at school and then driving over to live at their mother Shirley's house in Lamarck, Texas. Neighbors also saw Trent storming out not long after. Savannah and Shirley went out to check on the kids at school later that day before returning home at around noon. Shirley went straight to the master bedroom to freshen up. But nothing could have prepared her for what was waiting for her inside. The moment she stepped into the bathroom, Trent leaped out from behind the shower curtain with a firearm in his hand. And before she could even register what was going on, Trent announced that he was going to end both her and Savannah and opened fire. Fortunately, he missed the mark, giving Shirley the opportunity to escape to a neighbor's house and call for help. Sadly, Savannah wasn't as lucky. Trent managed to shoot her twice in the stomach before fleeing the scene. She was rushed to the hospital, but passed away shortly after. Though, while Savannah was fighting for her life, Trent uploaded this video to his now-deleted second channel, explaining his reasoning for the heinous crime. He accused Savannah of cheating on him and claimed that she was the one who made him do this. However, to most people who came across this video, it was clear that Trent posted the video so he could portray himself as the victim. He even seems to try a fake crime multiple times during the video, but fails to shed a single tear. Many also assumed the cheating accusation was likely false, but even if it wasn't, it was still no justification for taking her life. That said, the most disturbing part of this video was the very end, which showed Trent hearing a noise and immediately rushing to hide in a dark room. Closely listening to this section revealed a plastic rustling noise, similar to what shower curtains sound like when moved. In other words, Trent was possibly recording this final message in Shirley's home moments before they arrived, and then quickly ran to the bathroom when he heard the two pull into the driveway. He fled Lamarck immediately after committing the crime, prompting a statewide manhunt. This ended with the police tracking him down to a Walmart parking lot in Houston later the same day. However, Trent drew his firearm on the officers and refused to back down despite repeated warnings. This left deputies with no choice but to open fire, hitting him several times across the abdomen. He was then taken to a hospital, where he spent over a month recovering from his wounds. He was eventually booked into the Galveston County Jail on charges of murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm. Now, this is usually where stories like this end, but that's not what happened with Trent. Despite the deeply violent nature of his crimes, he was allowed to leave on bail after paying $550,000. He was fitted with a GPS ankle monitor and ordered to stay at his mother's house until his conviction. Trent initially complied with these orders, but on April 13, 2021, he removed his ankle monitor, stole a car at knife point after taking it on a test drive from a dealership, and vanished without a trace. This triggered a massive multi-state manhunt. The police spent months looking for Trent, but he was still nowhere to be found. This also left Savannah's family in a constant state of fear, as Trent could show up at any time to cause further harm. The run finally ended nearly 9 months later in January 2022, when the U.S. Marshals received a tip that a man matching Trent's description was staying at a small RV park in Ocala, Florida. Officers rushed to the scene and surrounded a van where they believed he was hiding. But before they could break in and apprehend Trent, he decided to end everything on his own, robbing Savannah's family of seeing any justice through the legal system.
Oh shit, they gave me an extra wing.
Lane Maurice Davis joined YouTube.
But, no, that's why you should just put him in jail though and just keep him there.
Maybe, like, don't give the option for them to be out, even if they pay a lot of money. Like, I know that was $500,000, but still, that's
Yes. What I should do is just take the money off him. Anyway, and then just keep him.
There you go.
All the way back in September 2009 under the name Seattle for Truth. Most of his videos have since been deleted by YouTube for policy violations, but they were mainly about right-wing political commentary and rants about current events. Some of these videos also revolved around Lane trying to prove various conspiracy theories. Lane also did an internship under British far-right commentator Milo Yiannopoulos at one point.
Quick man, I'm gonna get a cold drink.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Always the animal right wings. Oh, Dr. Seuss.
Oh, it didn't last very long. So his YouTube channel was the only thing Lane focused on for most of his adult life. But while he did have a sizable following across socials, most of his videos didn't attract enough viewers to provide a sustainable income. This forced Lane to live with his parents and rely on them for monetary needs, which apparently was a major source of tension in their relationship. His parents also had differing political views from their son, leading to frequent arguments, especially with his father Charles. And the back and forth on the night of July 14, 2017 started off as no different. As the argument became more heated, his mother, Catherine, dialed 911 and calmly asked for assistance, stating, "He's not physically threatening us or anything. He just gets out of control and he's ranting about stuff from the internet. He's not working and he just gets on these rampages and he just needs to move on. He just lives on the internet and he gets really worked up about everything that's going on. He needs an intervention of some kind here." The dispatcher instructed Catherine and Charles to keep their distance until the police arrived. But she downplayed the threat, saying she'd seen many similar outbursts in the past and that he wouldn't turn violent. Unfortunately, she couldn't have been more wrong. Because just a few minutes later, Catherine dialed 911 again, and this time in a far more frantic state, screaming phrases like, "He stabbed him," and repeating, "He's dead," over and over again. Officers were already on their way from the first call Catherine made and reached the house within minutes. Inside, they found Charles lying on the floor with his clothes covered in blood. According to reports, Lane became even more aggressive after the first 911 call and stabbed his father multiple times with a kitchen knife. By the time police arrived, Charles had already passed away. Lane likely regretted his decision immediately, as officers saw him standing outside the front door with his hands in the air, waiting to be arrested. He later pleaded guilty to second-degree murder as part of a plea deal and was sentenced to 17 years in prison. His YouTube channel now sits completely abandoned.
What? That didn't
So because he really allowed himself to be arrested,
I suppose.
In many of these cases, the transition from content creator to criminal is marked by a clear, calculated decision. But with Jessica Worsham, known online as the Indigo Mystic on YouTube, the path was much more blurred, with her channel serving as a digital diary for a woman who was visibly losing her grip on reality. Jessica started her channel in 2013 to post occasional videos on whatever topics grabbed her interest that day. Her content was relatively harmless, with nothing too attention-grabbing, at least at first. As her personal life began to fracture, the tone shifted dramatically. It started with her getting divorced from her husband. It's unclear what the reason for this divorce was, possibly something to do with her deteriorating mental state. Regardless of the reason, though, it left her in charge of her 2 daughters. However, she didn't have any place to stay at the time. So, one of her friends allowed her to stay at one of their properties for free until they found a buyer for it. They were likely expecting to sell the home in a few months. But the process ended up taking 3 long years. And when it was finally time to hand over the keys, Jessica intervened. Instead of being grateful for being able to stay there for 3 years for free, she refused to leave and even took her friend to court over it. She understandably lost in court and was forced to move out. This upended the life she'd built over the last 3 years and marked the beginning of her downfall. The stress of losing her home, combined with her pre-existing mental conditions, proved disastrous. She refused to accept the reality and became delusional, thinking that the judges were part of some evil group alongside her family members and were out to get her and her daughters.
So the first person I would like to mention is Alan Berriman. He is my uncle, and he has been working with my other family members, a one Angie Griffith. She lives in Danielsville. And also a Denise Cantrell, who is my maternal parent. And my sister, Crystal Christian, okay? They've all been working in league with a judge, a magistrate judge that works at the Jackson County Courthouse named Benjamin Green. He's been doing under-the-table type things that he's not supposed to be doing, and Alan Berriman and those mentioned afterwards have been in league with this particular judge individual and to steal my home from me.
Jessica began posting videos ranting about these made-up conspiracies, like how the government was trying to depopulate the world with the COVID vaccines. She was clearly losing her grip on reality, even posting videos directly addressing the judge she believed had wronged her in the past.
Anyway, this message is for Benjamin Green. I know you're watching me, and I know you're scared. And you should be. Dingledorf, he's too scared. He's too scared to even try to communicate with me telepathically, but you're scared, aren't you, Benji? Ben. Good old Benji. You used to be a good person, didn't you, Benji? You did. You used to actually have the desire for justice and the desire to do good by people. What happened? What happened? Did you let the greed of the world get to you? Did you let that secret society that you're a part of talk you into all this stuff?
However, this was only the beginning. The situation truly began to unravel when her ex-husband filed for custody of their 2 daughters in mid-2021. Jessica didn't have a solid roof over her head and wasn't sending the 2 girls to school either. Her behavior online was also becoming more and more erratic with each passing day. In addition to her rambling about topics that made little sense, she also posted videos waving around the firearm she had, threatening anyone who wanted to get in her way. Put simply, she was becoming dangerous to her own children. Her ex-husband filed for temporary custody until Jessica found proper residence and got professional help for her degrading mental state. But in her delusions, Jessica saw this as yet another attack on her from the same group that took away her home.
Today is a rather unfortunate day, to be honest with you. I'm actually going to court today against some people that are trying to take my children from me. The same people that took my home from me. The Jackson County court system.
She still could have had a chance to stay with her daughters, but on the day of the hearing, she refused to enter the courthouse, further highlighting her unstable mental state to the judge. The custody was awarded to her ex-husband until Jessica was deemed capable of resuming responsibility. This was a chance for her to actually work on improving her situation, but Jessica didn't see it that way. Sadly, she was already too far gone and decided to go on the run with her daughters instead. She stayed on the move for the next couple of months, moving from place to place, all while posting increasingly unhinged monologues on YouTube.
Mine. They're my babies. And I love them above anything else. I love them like I love God. And I'll do anything, including lay my life down for them. And I know that's what you wish for.
Jessica also felt the need to record and post to YouTube almost everything that happened in her life. She'd gone as far as to instruct her daughters to start recording whenever anything notable happened. What she didn't know was that one of these recordings would end up scarring them for life. The incident happened on November 5th, 2021, with Jessica getting into an argument with the owners of the house she was living in. The dispute escalated to the point where the owners asked her to leave the house, and when she refused, they contacted the police to have her removed. However, as soon as the officers pulled into the driveway, Jessica opened the front door with her firearm in her hand and opened fire. One of the shots hit 43-year-old Sheriff's Deputy Lena Marshall, sending her to the hospital where she tragically passed away just a few days later. The other officers opened fire in retaliation, hitting Jessica multiple times, all while her daughters heard and recorded everything inside the house. Jessica passed away on the spot, with her younger daughter posting the final video on YouTube with the heartbreaking title, "My mom is dead, I think," as recording and uploading to the internet was what Jessica had taught them to do.
What the actual fuck? Ass. Okay, well that's actually fucking insane.
So that's a blow this crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, crowd loving it.
Ugh. Not the good. Yeah, what did you think of that then, snappers?
You ready to fight? Ready. Good.
All right, the MMA legend, the UFC Hall of Famer Forrest Griffin, ready to go here for round one. The question beckons, how soon will he shoot and try to get this into a grappling realm? You know he'll have the advantage there if he chooses to attack the legs and take the opposition down. Nice, good pressure. Keep going with that. Trying to establish the jab early on here. Nice, great shot, great shot. Keep him guessing.
Look at him chop the wood. Chop the wood with those leg kicks.
Come on, man, I need more punches. Throws a big right hand, but doesn't find its home. All right, the Killer Gorilla, Jared Cannonier, getting that jab working here.
And a power jab. I mean, everything about Jared Cannonier is power. You look at him, you can tell that the guy is just insanely powerful. But it's this jab that is his trigger to do everything going forward in every fight that he's in. Fight behind a nice jab.
job here defensively, protecting his head, raising the guard, and really frustrating the offensive fighter a little bit.
Lesson one in boxing class, hands up, chin down.
Beautiful combination there. If you are teaching an up-and-coming fighter about throwing volume to the right to the target, let's see if his opponent can survive.
I cannot believe he is still standing after taking that.
Man, they are trading early and often. Here we go.
Let's go. This will be a good fight. We knew it would. These guys are intent to make it happen.
All right, so the overhand has certainly been a big weapon for him here tonight. Look for him to go right back to it here if he can find an opening. Man, that leg kick looked like a Louisville slugger as Jared Cannonier lands to the lead leg of his opponent.
Jared Cannonier always had power, but now he's the...
Oh, these guys are absolutely getting after it. Huge shots landing on both sides. Under 3 minutes now to go in what has been a very fast-paced opening round here. And he gets the single leg takedown.
Big ground and pound.
Oh, nicely done there as he escaped.
Oh, sugar.
What?
Oh, no.
I like how immediately you go sugar.
Good thing there's none of the actual food running the floor there.
Alright, so it was alright, really.
Go on now. Don't fucking tell me. Go on, mate. Go.
Okay.
Come on now.
Retreat.
Can't have that now.
There you go. Now go on. Go on then. Go on.
Go
Go
on.
on. Go. That way. That way.
Oh no, you shouldn't have that.
Back to his feet. Missed with that attempt. Griffin's cut above the eye, and that blood figures to start to trickle down. Could compromise his vision here moving forward. Nice jab by Cannoneer. Attacking the
Oh,
connection lying there. His opponent could be out of here soon, DC.
He's almost done. I mean, when you get hit with a shot like that, you don't know whether to run, hide, grab, or wrestle. He's confused. He's as confused as he was on his first test in elementary school.
Oh, that earned you a headache in the morning. Massive uppercut. Oh, huge left.
Big right hand.
Whiffs on the elbow.
He got him hurt bad here.
Griffin's strike attempt there is blocked. His opponent stayed upright.
I mean, he's still on his feet, but he's not up by much.
All right, so an opportunity goes by the field. He had him stunned, nearly finished, and now his opponent has recovered.
His opponent recovered. Now he's got to be feeling everything.
Cannonier's cut now above the eye, courtesy of that strike. We will keep an eye on it as the fight continues. 45 seconds to go here in round one. Just missed with the left there. Stunned, drunk driving out there. We'll see if he can recover. Back to the feet now. So the blood really starting to flow. Every time that area gets targeted, that fight's getting worse.
It's getting worse and worse, and you see the blood starting to come down. That is when you start to watch the fighter to see what type of effect it's starting to take on him, whether or not he's reaching for it, whether or not he's confused.
I'm not sure his opponent knows where he is.
Ready.
Round two is underway. All right, so here we go. The crowd on its feet as this next round gets underway. You saw in the previous round, both fighters got rocked. I don't think the scorecards are going to be needed for this one.
No, the scorecard will not be needed if we
it's Sonic
continue
here.
to fight as we did in the previous
No
round.
shit.
Somebody needs to be safe.
Done.
Well, he was setting up the hooks early and often tonight. Watch for
I
him
don't
to try
think
to
so.
set it up again here.
I wonder what happened to Sonic.
Nice jab by Griffin.
Probably getting fucked.
Back and forth we go. Well, so we predicted he'd go back to that hook, and he did. This time the opponent was ready.
Beautiful punch lands.
Well, the forecast is true. Goes back to the hook shot, but unable to land. He missed with that jab attempt there. Takedown defense is there. All right, let's go. Let's start to cut him off now. Big right hook coming. It's blocked. Well, you know this is the hurt business. Both guys are compromised at this stage. And back to his feet. With one of the greatest knockouts you will Jared Cannonier as we get this round underway from a start in the UFC's heavyweight division while living in Alaska, now to full-time training in Arizona as a middleweight contender. One of the more scarier power threats in this middleweight division, there's no doubt about it. He's got a very good submission game as well, training under John Crouch there at the MMA lab. And on any given Saturday night, Jared Cannonier just might be the best middleweight in the world. He is out to prove as much here tonight. Cannonier circling to his right now.
Great punch.
He's looking for that left hand. Not there.
Beautiful job getting those hands up.
Back to the left hand now. Unable to connect. Tonight, you got to be careful not to eat too many more of those.
He made his debut as a heavyweight.
Right.
And now he's down at 185 pounds just demolishing dudes. Jared Cannonier is a beast. He's a savage. And whoever gets the octagon will let him know they got the hand. Oh, nice little right hook there.
High-velocity elbow is blocked. Both fighters exchange in the pocket here. Overhand.
Won't take many of those.
Under 3 minutes now to go in the round. Well, that left hand has been there at times, not on that attempt. Overhand right, swing and miss. Nice slip there by Cannonier. Oh, beautiful technique for him there on that side kick. So just over 20 total strikes have landed for Israel Adesanya. Oh, beautiful straight right hand there from Israel Adesanya. You know, you worry so much, DC, about the kicking game. Sometimes you forget about those hands on Israel Adesanya. Nice jab there by Cannonier. Oh, left hook to the head, it's blocked. Circling to his right. All right, so now we start to see some bruising appearing on the torso, and all of that courtesy of the body work of his opponent.
Just the wherewithal to go to the body and the discipline to stay with that approach. I mean, it's just tremendous. You see a fighter with a high fight IQ following a game plan, and it's working.
Nice stick by Adesanya. Oh, nice straight punch there by Adesanya. All right, late in the round now, it has been all Israel Adesanya. He's landed a lot of power shots, not necessarily forcing the finish.
It's the way that he can land wherever he decides he wants to, with his legs, with his hands, with his elbows. It all comes back to the striking of the last style bender. Tonight, he is putting on a masterful performance.
And now that jab starting to get established. Oh, killer jab there from Jared Cannonier. Amazing to think where he would have been had he got an earlier start in MMA. He's only been at this for a few years and obviously has realized incredible results.
It's scary, right? It's scary. It's scary to think who this guy would be if he started
ready to fight? Ready.
Second round underway. All right, here we go as our next round gets underway. His striking was money in that previous round. Gotta think he'll pick up where he left off.
All about the money. It was greenback, cash, dollar bills, y'all. Every single strike he landed was on point. It was accurate, and it was every time he let loose, he was able to land to great effect.
Oh, so the taller fighter lands a flush knee. To the body it lands. Israel Adesanya gets caught by that straight hand. Well, this is as well as he has executed a striking game plan in his UFC career, and everything has worked out for that crisp jab. You see the numbers bottom of your screen. He has had that in his opponent's face from the opening horde, and he might even finish him with this jab if he's not careful. Trying to establish that jab once again. Keep going, keep going. Picture perfect shot here inside.
I mean, the fight is going to be over. I can't believe he's still standing. That shot landed perfect. Fast leg kick lands. Right back with those leg kicks.
Nice combination of kicks.
What a kick. That one landed.
Beautiful strike there by Israel Adesanya. He's got a
Oh,
lifetime in the game,
so
not a
bad.
lifetime in the UFC, but you see this is a lifelong striker who is very dangerous with all those.
Yeah, and when you're standing with Izzy, you're in trouble, man. You're under constant attack the whole time because you never know what he's going to hit you with. And right there, he landed the strike that he was looking for. Ooh, big shot lands. Well, the one thing about throwing jabs is that when you throw a jab, you kind of set your lead leg because you're trying to extend with the jab. If a person has good timing on leg kicks, they will land almost every time. So you got to be careful.
Cannonier's nose is bleeding now, so we'll see how he handles that adversity, but nothing ideal about it here in the middle of this fight. Good job keeping him. He's in a world of trouble now. Gets back to his feet. Oh, heavy shots continue to rain down. Just over 2 minutes to go in the round. Oh, rocked him, but couldn't finish.
He rocked him. He hurt him bad. He couldn't find his
Oh, he's on wobbly legs now. Adesanya's hook shot gets blocked. The defense saw that one coming. All right, so some definite damage underneath the elbow now on the side of his opponent. A lot of strikes to the body starting to add up.
Yeah, a lot of strikes to the body and mixing up the attack, not being one-dimensional, not headhunting inside the octagon. Now he's going full mount.
Cannoniers in half guard. Well, this is absolutely the hurt business. It's hard to see which party is more injured, but I think both fighters have been really effective with their strikes.
Yeah, both guys have been.
Hurt here. Oh, massive diving punch to the head.
This man is landing brutal ground and pound. He's doing a really good job putting himself in position.
Cannonier gets up. He is back on the feet here. So a much different approach for him here in this second round. He was a